Hello YouTube, it's Lion here with Hobbies of a Man once again, and today we are doing another Kaiju number 8 review. Today's review is going to be over chapter 7. Now, before we get started, I do want to warn everyone, I will talk about spoilers, and I will recap the last chapter really quickly before we get into the story. I will also cover some theories that I have for the next volume, or for the next chapter, and for the larger story that we're going to see in this manga. So if you guys want to skip the recap and just want to go straight to the previous videos, please click up here. I'll leave it up in the card if you guys want to do that. If you don't, please stay with us and enjoy the rest of the video. So the recap from last chapter is basically that during this test that they have, all the way from chapter 4, Kikoru has been devastating all the kaiju. She's been beating everyone. She is above and beyond everyone else. However, while she's doing that, Kafka and Ichikawa are really trying to stay with her and basically follow her and try to do something so that they can also make it into the Japan Defense Force. However, by the end of the chapter, we find that there's this new humanoid kaiju that decides to shove his spike, like his arm, through Kikoru. And we leave with Kikoru injured from what seems to be a wound directly to her heart, in a cliffhanger, and that's basically what happened last chapter. So jumping into this one, we have 18 pages of content this week, which is, it kind of sucks. It was really good, and the action was really nice and really good, very well done, sorry. But it was really short. So anyway, spoilers incoming now. I'll talk about the whole chapter, and then I'll discuss some points that are interesting to me. Then at the end, we'll do some theories. So the chapter opens up with Kafka and Ichikawa talking about how Kikoru really ran through the kaiju, how she really just demolished everything, didn't leave anything for anyone, but that thankfully, because she stopped everyone from getting hurt, she helped everyone pass. Because it was basically set up so that as long as you don't die, you pass. Which is kind of metal. But yeah. So after that, they notice that the kaiju start to regenerate. They're starting to what's it called? Well, they're starting to reanimate, I guess. And it's weird, and Kafka and Ichikawa are looking at it and like with surprise. Then they notice that Kikoru is hurt, and that we find out that she's alive, but she's very definitely hurt. She says that she was able to move enough for it to not hit her heart, which it would still hit her lungs, so she would be really, really like basically about to die. And she says that she can try to manipulate the kaiju muscle fibers in her suit in order to help her heal, which is interesting. I didn't know that. I think it was a detail I missed previously. But it's really cool, and it kind of adds something to what they're going to do with Kafka if they find out that he's a kaiju. So, yeah, we find out that the humanoid kaiju is also able of speech. It can talk. And it's actually rather creepy. It has a mouth but no eyes, and it has really big teeth. And it talks to the actual, like, big monster kaiju. It tells it that, you know, it did good. It basically, he treats it like a dog. And he says that it's time for it to eat and to chew well, I think is the actual phrase he used. So, it's interesting to see that this humanoid kaiju is in charge of others. It kind of adds a bit of weight, and it shows maybe what Kafka can do in the future, but we don't really know if Kafka is able to control kaiju, or if the kaiju are only able to be controlled under certain circumstances. So I'm kind of interested to see where that goes. So while that's happening, and the kaiju tells the other one to kill everyone, the proctors get scared and start getting to ready to deploy as they tell all the examinees to evacuate. They all do, and Kikoru starts to develop some resolve to fight to the death with this kaiju in order to save everyone else, because the team of proctors is going to take a long time to get to the actual test center. So she gets that, and as she's doing that, as she's like gathering her resolve, we get flashbacks explaining her relationship to her father and kind of why she is the way she is. If we remember in chapter 3, I think, Kikoru gets introduced as the spoiled rich girl that is a genius, right? And it turns out that she's not really a genius, or well, she is, but it's all because someone has been telling her, in this case her dad, that she has to be the best, that she has to be the number one for the nation of Japan, that she's the reason why Japan will survive, and that she always has to be the very best. So we get some of her personal struggles, and we understand that she is someone that's always been expected to be the best and has never gotten praised for it. And there was a scene there where she was like looking at other kids as they were getting praised for doing well, and then she goes home and her father yells at her to not get hung up on the fact that she did well, and you just see her like get crushed. I was like, damn. That sucked. And it really made me empathize a lot with Kikoru. So I really loved it, even though the guy was horrid. But it's fine. So she's getting beat by the kaiju. She is basically feels that she must be perfect. And the kaiju starting to grow horns and is starting to charge up an attack. You see little sparks of like lightning looking things coming out of the horns of the kaiju. So I think that it was charging like a ray beam that it was going to throw at Kikoru. And so Kikoru's there and she's starting to get ready to die. She realizes that her resolve to fight is not actually useful. Instead, she has to prepare to die. So she starts to say sorry. And she says sorry to her dad, who's the guy that like pushed her to always be the best. Which is like, okay, I understand where it's coming from, but no, you should not apologize to that guy for being such a shit person. So she does this, and then eventually Kafka shows up. And he's like, Kikoru, you did great. Thanks to you, everyone is safe. And you just see her like change. Her expression goes from defeated to like, oh my God, what's going on? Why is someone praising me? That was great storytelling with the art. It was really good. And they have a little bit of a moment, and then Kafka turns around and he's like, I got this. It's like one of those, like that scene in Avengers when Dr. Banner is like, you want to know my secret? It's that I'm always angry, and he like turns around and then turns into the Hulk. Same type of thing. It was great. I really enjoyed it. And that's basically where we leave. The chapter ends in that cliffhanger. Kafka standing in front of Kikoru. Kikoru with surprise on her face as she's kneeling on the ground where she was ready to die. And that's it. That's nothing else. And again, it's another cliffhanger. What the heck, man? I was really excited to see what was going to happen this week. And I think what happened this week was great, but I was really expecting something a little bit different. And I realized that it was because I was expecting a lot more storytelling to happen. And I don't mean that like to say that there wasn't any storytelling. What I mean is that I was expecting it to go for longer. You can't really talk about what I was thinking would happen this week in 18 pages. And that's not like a diss or saying that the mangaka has to do more. It's just like I didn't like think in terms of weekly manga. I thought in terms of like long-term storytelling. So that was on me, but I was really happy with this chapter. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this chapter too, and if you did, please comment down below. Let me know what your favorite part was. how you felt about the characters, and, you know, overall, what you enjoyed. I would be really interested in hearing about that. So let's get on to the theories now. So I think really that there's not much of a difference between what I was thinking last week. I still think that if this is going to go long term for like a very long time, it has to move from urban battle scenes into something a lot more large scale, and it has to get out of Japan. I personally want the kaiju to be aliens, and I'm still sure that the kaiju, the humanoid kaiju in this last two chapters is not like Kafka. I don't think it's a human turned kaiju. It's a kaiju trying to be human. Or like a kaiju that is set up in a different way from the other ones. One that's not necessarily a monster. And my theory with Kikoru changed. I still thought that, I think that the general essence of it was still the same. I do think that Kikoru was going to develop a connection with Kafka because Kafka saved her. I thought that she was going to be some type of like romantic yandere type character, and I think that's still possible. But I was talking to people on Reddit, and I guess I had forgotten that Kafka is 32 and Kikoru is like 18. So it's possible that her being obsessed with him in that way might not actually be great. It's not any less weird than it's not any weirder than stuff we see in other manga, but I don't know if it would fit into the style of this story. So maybe not, but she'll definitely have some really close connection with Kafka, in my opinion. So I'm excited to see where it goes. I think next chapter, we're either going to have a battle between Kafka and all the kaiju, or Kafka is going to have to just stall for the rest of the deployment crew to get there. But who knows? I'm really excited to see what happens, and hopefully you guys are too. Again, drop comments down below. Let me know what you thought. Do you guys have any theories of your own? Please let me know. As always, please like and subscribe. And thank you guys very much for watching. See you guys later.